This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, such true words have never been said before. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is June the 9th, which is a Tuesday, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, that's kind of how we do it. Take a listen to this one.
Top of the morning to you.
Hello, everybody. I feel so good right now.
I'm a little nervous.
I've been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Boys and girls, are you ready for the show?
Let's do this.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get it all started as we are here on this lovely Tuesday. So how was the Monday for you? Did you survive? Did everything go well? Hopefully it did. A lot of stuff always going on inside of the multiverse of ours. So let's start talking right away about how our show works, because that always seems to be an important portion of what we're talking about. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of the way that it goes. Some people go, but your news stories are not related to safety. Well, no, duh. The reason I say that is because of the following. The reason that the show is set up in the format that it is because I think that you need to have information of what is going on inside of the world, opposed to just talking straight up about just safety stuff. Some people will not care until listening to what you have to say if that's all you're ever talking about. Let's just be realistic on what's going on. So with that being said, and if you're keeping that in mind and being a little bit realistic when it's all said and done, if you have some other stories to discuss prior to just jumping straight into safety, people will probably listen a little bit more, opposed to you just jumping straight in and going, here it is, here's everything I got. I'm just telling you, this is just kind of the way that it works in the most part, for regards of when you're talking to people. So with that being said, if you keep that in mind, we can kind of probably move forward and do some other things as life goes on, dear John. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse of ours. So with that being said, if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options that it gives you immediately. So once you get there, boom, that's all it is. It gives me a little ring-a-ding-ding over here on the side of the screen, and I know exactly what to do based on the information that you're providing. That's the easiest way to do that. Outside of that, we do have some friends from Feature Story News They come in and start talking right away about what the hell is going on inside of this multiverse of ours, because that's just kind of what they do. So if you're good with that, I can bring in my friends from Feature Story News, and they will tell you immediately of what's happening inside of the world of the news cycle. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it, and we can get rolling right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Garg. 37 people are now confirmed to have died and more than 470 people have been injured after an earthquake hit the Philippines. According to the local disaster agency, rescue operations are still underway in Mindanao, the Philippines' main southern island. Rebecca Bundan reports.
Rescue crews are continuing to search for survivors after a powerful earthquake struck the southern Philippines. The 7.8 magnitude quake caused buildings to collapse, triggered landslides and damaged roads and bridges. Thousands of residents have been forced from their homes, with many spending the night in evacuation centres as strong aftershocks continue. Authorities warn the death toll could rise as emergency teams work to reach some of the hardest hit communities. The government has mobilised military and disaster response units to support rescue and relief efforts. Rebecca Bundan, Mumbai.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Chinese President Xi Jinping held talks in Pyongyang, agreeing to expand cooperation in politics, economy and culture, according to state media. President Xi's trip to North Korea comes after he received US President Donald Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin for talks separately in Beijing. Laura Westbrook reports.
Chinese President Xi Jinping's first overseas trip this year and his first to North Korea in 7 years is significant. President Xi says that the relationship between China and North Korea stands at a new historical starting point, and both leaders have agreed to strengthen high-level exchanges, deepen strategic communication, and expand practical cooperation. North Korean state media did not mention whether the leaders discussed Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program or relations with the United States. China is Pyongyang's most important ally, and North Korea's economy depends heavily on China. Analysts say that one of the goals of this trip is President Xi reasserting his influence over a partner that has grown closer to Russia since its invasion of Ukraine, with Pyongyang providing troops to Moscow in the war. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
A federal judge has blocked President Trump's policy of imposing a $100,000 fee for H-1B visas, which are used to bring highly skilled workers to the United States.
The judge in the case ruled that the $100,000 fee was equivalent to a tax and therefore needs congressional approval. President Trump had imposed the fee through an executive order claiming the H-1B visa program had been abused for years and that there are plenty of qualified Americans to take the jobs. An estimated 730,000 H-1B visa holders work in the United States. The vast majority hail from India and work in the tech sector. The White House says it will appeal the decision. Tony Waterman, Washington.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today in more detail at the situation in the Middle East and the question of whether there is a growing schism between President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We had already heard reports of tense, angry phone calls between the two of them before the tit-for-tat military action that took place between Israel and Iran over the weekend. Now the US leader says he believes Israel and Iran want to re-establish a ceasefire, but Mark Sievers, former US ambassador to Oman, says it's very difficult to get a clear read on exactly what is going on between Washington and Tel Aviv.
There is so much spin and disinformation and deliberate misleading in the media that it's really hard to tell where the reality lies, especially in that kind of key relationship between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. But clearly at this point, they seem to be headed somewhat in different directions. Part of that is over Lebanon and how to keep Lebanon separate from the Gulf issue. And it may be some Israeli concern as well about where the United States is going in terms of the negotiations with Iran, but I don't really know that that's the case.
And President Trump said on Monday that he believes a ceasefire extension between the US and Iran could now advance quickly, although he has said that before. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
FSN is an independent source of news for TV, radio and digital networks worldwide. You can find more of our minute-by-minute updates on Twitter. Follow us there at Feature Story. And we have a wealth of audio and video stories from our global news bureaus on Facebook. You can find us there by following Feature Story News. Stay tuned for further updates right here. But for now, that is the latest Feature Story News. Ishan Garg reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, Ph.D. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. J. Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. I'm not sure if I want to be too funny or too stupid or one or the other. We'll take it. I mean, we'll take it for what it is. That's for sure. Don't get me the wrong way. So let's start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what happens around here. So I don't know, but I think that this is probably one of the ones that we should start off with because it's something slightly different than most. But a California hiker is recovering after a terrifying grizzly bear attack in Montana Glacier National Park. Danielle Crago of San Diego was hiking in Grinnell Glacier Trail when he spotted a bear cub and then noticed a much larger grizzly just 15 feet away. Crago says that he calmly spoke to the bear as recommended, but the animal charged after the two made eye contact. The grizzly attacked, biting his arm and instead of his face and dragging him about 20 feet before releasing him. A nearby hiker, including doctors, helped stabilize his injuries until he was airlifted to a hospital. Daniel had suffered damage to his arm with both forearm bones broken. And but doctors were able to save the limb. And the major nerves and arteries were not damaged. So the positive there, I guess. Despite multiple surgeries and a long recovery ahead, Daniel says that he feels fortunate to be alive and still loves the outdoors. Nothing that national parks, the bear's home. A fundraiser for medical expenses already has raised more than $60,000 goal. Take a listen to this.
It charged towards me, 2 bear steps and a leap towards me. You could hear the roar, and I just stuck my arm up out of self-defense and bit down on my arm, took me with it about 20 feet.
So, I don't know. It sounds crazy to me, that's for sure. I mean, think about that for just a moment. It's like you're in their habitat, so there's not much that you can do, besides not going to their habitat, of course. But that's one of those weird ones that when you start talking about it, I was like, whoa. I'm glad that you came out alive on the other side of that one. No doubt about that one. So there you go. Okay, what else do we got going on? We got a lot of stuff going on this morning. That's kind of the crazy part. But do we go into serious business right away? Because it seems like we get serious immediately around here on this show. So let's start talking about this. So are you familiar with Spencer Pratt? If you're not, I think you're about to become familiar with him. He was kind of popular because he was on some reality TV shows, but he was also trying to run for mayor of L.A. But take a listen to this. President Trump is blasting the vote counting process in Los Angeles after reality TV star Spencer Pratt slipped from second to third place in the city's mayoral race. After early election results showed Pratt in position to advance to the runoff against incumbent Karen Bass. Later, ballot count pushed the city councilman Neitha Raymond ahead of him. With only the top 2 candidates moving forward to the November runoff, Pratt now finds himself on the outside looking in. Trump took to Truth Social to call the outcome impossible, accusing Los Angeles and California election officials of running a rigged process. He also warned that supporters of the gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton to closely watch the vote totals as ballots continue to be counted. So, what do you think? It's getting interesting. It's getting interesting as we are talking, no doubt about it. So there you go. Let's talk about this one real quick because we talked a little about this inside of Feature Story News, but I still think that it's important to talk about, and let's just kind of go slow here. Let's go slow. In regards to what's going on, a federal judge in Boston has struck down President Trump's policy imposing a $100,000 fee for the new H-1B visas, ruling that the charge amounted to the unauthorized tax that Congress never approved. In a lawsuit brought by 20 Democratic attorney generals, the U.S. District Judge Leo Sorkin found that the massive fee went far beyond the traditional costs associated with the visa program and could not legally be imposed by executive action alone. The H-1B program, widely used by technology companies, universities, and other employees to hire highly skilled foreign workers, typically carried application-related fees ranging between $2,000 to $5,000. President Trump policy increased the cost to $100,000 for new visas as part of a broader effort to prioritize American workers and tighten immigration policies. In his ruling, Sorokin wrote that the fee functioned as a tax regardless of what the administration called it, and because Congress never authorized such a tax, the policy was unlawful. The H-1B program currently issues about 65,000 visas annually, plus an additional 20,000 visas for applicants with advanced degrees. So there you go. What do you think here? It's definitely becoming more and more interesting as we're seeing some of these things. Because remember, at one point, wasn't there a conversation where they were doing, what was it? Wasn't it like on $1 million aspect where you pay $1 million and you could get the golden visa or something along those lines? I mean, it's getting weird. definitely getting weird out there. It's like I don't even know what to think sometimes when it's all said and done.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, trying to be something, that's for sure. Entertaining, I don't know if that's exactly the case, but there you go. So take a listen to this. President Trump has officially nominated Todd Blanche, currently serving as the acting attorney general, to take the job permanently. Todd, who previously worked as one of the Office of the Presidential Personnel Defense Attorneys, would replace Pam Bondi, who was dismissed in April. The nomination now heads to the Senate for confirmation. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley said that has already voiced support, calling Todd qualified and committed to restoring the law and order. Meanwhile, committee member John Corner plans to question Todd about the President Trump's $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund during the confirmation process. So we'll see what happens there as we are talking. What do you think about this? No, seriously, what do you think about it? It definitely gets interesting as we are talking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's kind of an interesting one as we are talking. So there you go. So want to hear something weird? Let's go to weird, because this is where it gets. A father in London got a surprise of his life when his 3-year-old daughter turned $1,800 worth of $100 bills into arts and crafts project. Yeah, Anthony Calagivi discovered that his daughter Amelia happily cutting up stacks of cash that had been set aside for family celebration. The money was part of a tradition in which the guests are showered with cash during Nigerian festivities. While Anthony thought that he had only left out a stack of $1 bills, the toddler got a hold of them, a much more valuable stash, and transformed it into confetti. Anthony admitted that he was initially shocked and angry, but later realized that it was just an expensive lesson about leaving cash within the reach of a curious child. After researching whether mutilated currency would be replaced, he learned that the damaged bills can sometimes be redeemed if enough of the note remains. Fortunately, the family was able to show the bank the video of evidence of what happened, and they were reimbursed for the money, turning what could have been a costly disaster into a funny family story. So really, I did not know this, because at one point I thought it was like 51% of the note needed to be available before you would be able to do anything. So there you go. Interesting times there. Do we want to talk a little bit more about money, or do we want to do something else here? Let's talk about this one. An Ohio man struck a lottery gold after accidentally throwing away a scratch-off ticket worth $100,000. The Willard resident realized that the ticket had ended up in the trash and went dumpster diving to recover it before the garbage collection day. His rescue mission paid off. The ticket was the big winner after the taxes. He took home $73,250. Talk about finding a treasure in the trash. That's for sure. What do you think about this? Because would you go dumpster diving for that? I mean, I think you would probably give it some consideration.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, I'm just saying, I don't know. I mean, I would definitely give it some serious consideration. No doubt about that. As we are talking. Okay, so yeah, I will tell you, if you were in Oklahoma recently, you might have had should I say the Oklahoma highway, or should I say Tennessee? But definitely if you were in one of those two spots, you probably had some very interesting times if you got to see this one. Drivers on Interstate 75 near Chattanooga, Tennessee, got an unexpected fireworks show on Saturday night when a truck carrying fireworks caught fire. According to the Chattanooga Fire Department, emergency crews responded to the blaze just north of the Olawath exit. The truck burned into its cargo of fireworks, began exploding and shooting into multiple directions, creating a dramatic roadside display. What was captured on video by several witnesses. Authorities shut down the traffic in both directions on the interstate while firefighters worked to extinguish the flames. Despite the chaos and flying fireworks, no injuries were reported. Officials have not yet revealed the cause of the truck fire. It was Tennessee's first drive-through 4th of July celebration, what it sounds like. And the truck driver accidentally selected the grand finale package, and motorists expected brake lights, and they got bright lights, is what it sounds like. And GPS recalculated turn left into the giant fireball. I mean, think about that for a moment. If you're actually hanging out on the highway and all of a sudden you get to see a whole bunch of fireworks going down, things might get a little crazy for you if you kind of give it some thought there for a moment. I mean, how weird is that? Not that you would ever expect them to be going down the highway and all of a sudden, hey, there is a whole bunch of fireworks that are just starting to explode.
Duh.
I mean, there's kind of like no different of when you start seeing the ones where people start talking about saying, hey, listen, did you see about the airplane that landed on the highway? It's not even as uncommon as that one. I mean, it's just kind of a weird one when it's all said and done. Now, let's talk about this. Talk about
stroke of genius.
A brazen daytime theft has left a bourbon company missing about 11,000 bottles of whiskey worth about $500,000. This heist happened in Philadelphia warehouse when a truck driver arrived, showed identification, and picked up 18 pallets containing 10,800 bottles of Noble Oak bourbon that were supposed to be delivered to New Jersey. Everything appeared normal until the shipment never arrived. The company officials now believe that the theft was part of a sophisticated cargo fraud scheme. Investigators suspect criminals impersonated a legitimate trucking company and manipulated shipping paperwork and that physically collected the shipment. The missing driver reportedly lacked a purchase order, but the load was released after the warehouse of staff confirmed the truck was expected. The bourbon maker believes the stolen liquor will likely be sold through unauthorized distributors, online markets, and secondary sellers in the mid-Atlantic region. Philadelphia police say that the FBI are investigating the cargo thefts involving food and beverage products that continue to rise across the country. So somebody took bourbon on the rocks way too seriously, is what it sounds like. So police are looking for suspects with suspiciously smooth finish. And the other part, that's not liquor run, that is a liquor marathon. Now think about this for just a moment. You are aware there's like all kinds of legal requirement paperwork when you go to do one of these things. I mean, I'm not going to joke here as I say this. Normally you have to have a bill of lading. You have to have the purchase order. You normally have to, like, somebody has to actually crack the truck open and verify that the PIN number actually matches. There's a whole bunch of different steps that normally take place here. So somebody had to override this to say, okay, we can do this. And I'm not saying that overrides are incorrect. It happens in that industry all the time. But think about the amount of failures that had to be in place, that had to take place for this not to work out. I mean, that's going to be the interesting part about the whole thing. Because when you start really thinking about it, you go, okay, so we went ahead and did this, but why were we willing to release it and not really have a problem? That's where it's going to become interesting later down the road. So let's continue talking about some other things. A Fort Worth family nearly began their vacation to the Virgin Islands without one of their most important travel companions, a well-loved teddy bear named Bobby.
Bobby.
A 4-year-old Patrick Webb's favorite stuffed animal was accidentally left behind at an American airline lounge at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport just before the family boarded the flight. With no time to leave the plane, the family alerted American Airlines, and an employee quickly tracked down Bobby and the Admirals Club. Rather than simply holding on to the bear, airline staff spent the next week sending Patrick photos and updates showing that Bobby was safe and being well cared of. The family returned home, and the bear, which Patrick had since infancy, was eventually reunited with his younger owner, turning the vacation mishap into a heartwarming story. And I would imagine, definitely some promotion for American Airlines. Bobby spent a week in the Admirals Club. He is now demanding complimentary cocktails for an upgrade, is what it sounds like. I mean, and just think about this. Some of these clubs kick you out after a few hours of being in there. So how did the bear manage to stay without having any kind of issues? That's going to be the other portion to talk about for a moment. So let's give a disclaimer here. Should we talk about this? Because I think it's kind of one of these things that you hear some of these things and you never know what really applies and what really doesn't. But let's talk about this. And believe me, I'm not condoning any of these. I'm just kind of sharing with you a list that somebody sent in, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Here's a list of the top bizarre health remedies. Eating powdered mummies remains was once believed to cure headaches, internal bleeding, and various illnesses. Applying live leeches to your body was thought to balance your body's hemorrhage and threats everything from fever to mental illness. Wearing a potato in your pocket was believed to prevent health issues. Swallowing goldfish was once promoted as a remedy for asthma. Toasted mice were used to some cultures as treatment of the whooping cough. Drinking snake wine was believed to boost your strength and vitality for male fertility, if you know what I'm saying there. Ground rhinoceros horns was thought to cure fevers and act as an aphrodisiac. Frog soup was once prescribed for tuberculosis. Placing dead mole around your neck was believed to cure toothaches. Owl eggs were consumed as a remedy of alcoholism. Eating earthworms was thought to help cure jaundice. Drinking water from a bell that rang at a funeral was believed to cure in regards of epilepsy. So yeah, applying crushed snails to your skin was used to treat warts and inflammation. Wearing a necklace made of garlic cloves was believed to ward off disease and plague. Rubbing bacon fat on the chest was a popular treatment for colds and coughs. Was that like after the bacon was cooked? Because I want to have a better understanding. And drinking pigeon blood was once believed to increase the strength and stamina. So just to make sure, I'm not condoning any of this stuff. I'm just saying, might want to look it up. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this because I thought that this one was pretty interesting. You are familiar with Tom Brady, the former quarterback for the New England Patriots, also for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady is getting plenty of attention after launching a new coconut water brand called Good Nut. Yeah, I did say that, Good Nut. Brady unveiled the drink in social media video, joking that when a product is good enough, its name doesn't matter. He also encouraged followers to tag a friend who need a good nut, which immediately sparked a wave of reactions online. While some fans found the name funny, others called it awkward and cringeworthy, with many joking that people would buy a drink just so they could call it that they got a good nut from Tom Brady. Even sports hosts Kay Adams and shimmed with a simple telling response. Tom, despite the jokes, Brady may have the last laugh. The drink is being launched at Gulf Puff. Enters becoming coconut water market expected to be worth billions in the coming years. Brady says hydration has always been a key part of his lifestyle, and building businesses has become one of the most rewarding parts of his post-football career. So there you go. So will you be getting a good nut? Well, who knows? Hopefully you will. That's the thing. Let's get into our main story.
Here is our main story on a Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so some main story time as we are going to start talking right away in regards to some of the stuff that is going on inside of the multiverse of ours. So we need to have a serious conversation today about the illusion of control. And I want you to think about the people that are sitting up in the corporate suite, the architects of bureaucracy. And they live in what we call the blunt end of the stick. Up there in the climate-controlled boardrooms, everything makes sense. The spreadsheets are perfectly aligned. The metrics are glowing green. They build massive, complicated policies and standard operating procedures that look absolutely like masterpieces on the projector screen. But what they're actually building isn't safety systems. It's a simulation. It's a fabricated reality designed to make the boardroom feel secure while completely ignoring the chaos happening down on the floor. Now, we've discussed Philip K. Dick before on this show, so let's continue talking about him now. Philip K. Dick understood that this is when we talked about how the landscape is deformed out of the recognition by the lie. The corporate suite sells you the lie every single day. They tell you that if you just follow the rigid step-by-step procedures, nothing bad will happen. But anyone who has actually turned a wrench, driven a rig, or walked a chaotic job site knows the truth. The map they drew in the boardroom has absolutely nothing to do with the territory that you're surviving in. And let's talk about the sharp end of the stick. The sharp end is where the real work happens. It's where people lift, weld, transport, climb, and repair. And the fundamental problem within the modern compliance factory is that most systems are designed by the blunt end without ever asking the sharp end what it's like to hold a damn stick. When the people closest to the work are cut off of the design process, the system starts to drift. The corporate office demands that you fight the dynamic, consistently shifting reality using dead, static forms. Bruce Lee called this organized despair. Instead of dealing with the live, breathing nature of what actually works, the bureaucracy forces you to practice flowery forms and artificial techniques that only simulate reality. They hand you a clipboard with 50-point checklists and expect you to stop a 2-ton piece of equipment from falling if it's form of a paralysis, and are suddenly solidifying the conditions that would be fluid and creating a blind devotion of systemic uselessness. And what happens when reality bites back? What happens when the environment changes? The pressure spikes and workers at the sharp end has to abandon the dead corporate form just to get the job done safely. They adapt because people make the best decisions they can based on the state they're in. Think about that for a moment. People will make the best decisions that they have based on the state that they're in. But the blunt end doesn't see the adaptation. The blunt end sees the violation. When the system fails because it's too rigid to bend, the corporate office turns around and blames the human beings, the only flexible part of the design. They drag the workers into the office, they point out the checklist, and they punish them for not conforming to the simulation. This is where the high entropy garbage suffocates the signal. In physics, and in what Thomas Campbell's work, we understand that high entropy systems break easily. They panic, they react, they look at the typical corporate response to an incident, and they panic. They launch an investigation to find the scapegoat. They drown you into endless high entropy paperwork to cover their own liabilities. They manage perception, not expressing reality. But low entropy systems respond, adapt, and grow. Low entropy is pure signal. It is the frontline workers who notice the subtle shift in the machine vibration. It's the crew lead who pauses a job because sometimes doesn't feel right in their gut. That's real safety. It requires presence, not performance. It requires a mind that is fluid, empty of preconceived corporate dogma, and ready to respond like an echo to the actual environment. So we want to stop accepting the pseudo-knowledge pushed by the boardroom. Belief is posing as knowledge, and pseudo-knowledge is not real knowledge. Think about that for a moment. The executives believe that their manuals keep you safe, but their belief is based on ignorance of the sharp end of the stick. If you are a leader listening to this, you have a choice. You can keep pushing the heavy, high-entropy boulder of the corporate compliance up the hill, forcing the people to live inside the fake, rigid construct. Or you can start hacking away from the unessential. You can strip away the jargon, the useless checklists, and the performative safety theater. You walk out with the sharp end, and you look at the people in their eyes, and you ask them, "What is the system making it impossible for you to do today?" Stop trying to force the territory to match the map. The map is just paper. This is what we tend to forget. Why is it that we tend to forget that? The territory is where the blood, sweat live. Wake up and drop the dead form and turn it into what we should be looking at, the signal.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com for more information. Lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Freeform radio never sounded this great.
or Havoc. Radio Big.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out here on this lovely Tuesday. Yeah, still trying to get my voice back. There you go. This right here is Lola Buzz. The song's titled We're Supersonic. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. We would like to thank Lola Buzz for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that. You know how it is. I get new music and I can't stop playing it. It's just the way that it goes. So there you go. Always a good time as you and I are getting to hang out, no doubt about that. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will tell you in my lifetime, and that is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. No, seriously, once you get there, it can change everything for you. Seriously, not a joke as I say that. And the reason that I like to mention this is because there's so much information on that website. I look at it and I go, there's helplines that are on there. There's stories about what's going on in real time with people. There's information. There's even ways to get involved. There's ways to actually support. Just a whole bunch of different things. Just all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, I'm going to tell you, it can change everything for you. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, if you do not mind. And here we go. We are a little over a month away. I think it's like a month and 4 days at this point, where we have our little reality shift event that's taking place here in good old Orlando, Florida. I would love to see you there. We're hanging out this time inside of a movie theater. Yep, not a joke as I say that. We're going to have this event inside of a movie theater where we will be hanging out with Nick Weatherly, talking about behavior-based safety. I'll have Todd Conklin there talking about human and organizational performance. And I will be there talking about Signal. Would love to have you there, hanging out with us, doing some things. It'll be an all-day event happening on Monday, July the 13th. The other side of the equation is we'll watch a documentary or there because, hey, we're inside of a movie theater. Why would we not take advantage of that? So come hang out with us. All you have to do to find out more information is to go to safetyfm.io. Safetyfm.io. Once you get there, it'll give you all the information about what's going on. If not, you can just scan the little QR code that's on the screen right there, and that will take care of everything for you. So there you go. So I know that right now we are broadcasting on the radio station before I forget about this. So if you've been hanging out with us, we've been doing video on our visual radio aspect of Safety FM, and we're on some social media platforms. But I believe as of yesterday, if you're on the Apple podcast catcher, you can now flip between the video and the audio. It's only on the episodes that are coming out this week, by the way. I'm meaning from this week forward. So if you're looking at some of the older ones, I don't believe that it'll have it on there. But wanted to let you know. So if you can flip back and forth if you want to see what exactly is going on inside of the studio, you're more than welcome on that. So there you go. That's some stuff going on. So anyways, with that being said, now there's visual radio to the masses, I guess is the way that it looks. And now that it wasn't to the masses before, but I've always been the radio guy. It's always been the format that I go with, but we have some video in there now. So there you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and do this. I do have John Small waiting in the wing, wanting to talk about the Motivation Minute. So if you're good for it, I'm good for it. So let's do that right now.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Colin. Bobby Kennedy said, "Only those who dare to fail greatly can ever achieve greatly." I'll give an example from the wide world of sports, even though I'm not really a sports guy. I love the fact that Babe Ruth was the home run leader and the strikeout leader in the same year. It actually happened twice, in 1923 and in 1927. He said, "I hit big or I miss big, but everything I do big." Let's look at the numbers. In 23, Babe hit 41 home runs and he had 151 strikeouts. In 1927, he hit 60 home runs and he had 89 strikeouts. He's known for being a great player, but did you notice that he struck out far more often than he hit home runs? We still think of him as a winner. Maybe people see your achievements over your flaws too.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Tension in the Gulf deepened Saturday after American forces struck Iranian sites following drone launches near vital shipping lanes.
The military said drones headed toward waters near the Strait of Hormuz before radar facilities were targeted. Officials warned the exchange could further strain efforts to calm a fragile regional standoff. Chris Anderson reporting.
A major surveillance debate intensified in Washington after senators blocked an effort to extend a powerful intelligence program nearing expiration.
7 Republicans joined Democrats on Friday to stop a procedural vote on renewing Section 702 authority. Unless Congress acts before the deadline, the surveillance program will lapse, potentially affecting intelligence operations and national security planning. Liam White reporting.
Political headwinds appear to strengthen for President Trump as several setbacks emerged across Congress courts and public contests.
Recent developments included legislative defeats, legal rulings, and resistance to administration priorities. Observers are watching upcoming votes and events for signs of broader change. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The White House is accelerating artificial intelligence efforts across national security agencies while stressing limits on government use.
A new directive calls for broader development and deployment of advanced AI capabilities. Officials say safeguards remain important as agencies expand cybersecurity and defense applications. Jessica Oakley reporting.
The race to challenge Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass tightened Friday as vote counting continued across the city.
Updated results showed the contest for second place narrowing, with many ballots still outstanding. Election workers continue processing votes before the field for November becomes final. Kyle Norris reporting.
European leaders prepared for high-level talks with Ukraine's president as pressure grows for a path toward ending war.
French, British, and German leaders are scheduled to meet Volodymyr Zelensky in London. The discussions are expected to focus on support efforts and increasing pressure on Russia. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A key surveillance program moved closer to expiration after a divided Senate bloc debate on extending federal authority.
Several Republicans joined Democrats to stop the procedural vote needed for further action. Unless lawmakers intervene, the intelligence program is set to expire this week. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A rare summit in Pyongyang is drawing attention as China and North Korea move to strengthen ties amid regional tensions.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected to begin a visit with leader Kim Jong-un. Analysts say the meetings could shape future diplomacy and security discussions across Asia. Gary Beck reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth.
Okay, sounds like a terrible idea there, that's for sure. So let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. Back in 1902, the first Automat restaurant opens, and that was in 818 Chestnut Street in Philadelphia. So there you go. In 1931, the first showing of Donald Duck, the cartoon, happens. Let's see. In 1934, the first Donald Duck cartoon, The Wise Little Hen, was released. Let's see. What else we got? 1943, Congress passes pay-as-you-go income tax. 1959, the first ballistic missile sub-launch at George Washington, Groton, Connecticut. Also, 1960, ABC and the AFL sign a 5-year contract. And in 2017, Adam West, Batman, he dies. So there you go. Those are things that happened all back on those dates. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Michael J. Fox turned 65. Aaron Sorkin turned 65 as well. Johnny Depp turned 63. Gloria Rubin turned 62. And Natalie Portman turns 45 today. So there you go. There's some birthdays for you. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because that always seems to be important. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot is worth $392 million. Here's last night's winning Powerball numbers. It was for $225 million. It was 3, 24, 34, 43, 49. Powerball was 20. Power Play was 3. Measles cases are surging across the U.S., and 2026 is on pace to become the worst year of the outbreak since the disease was eliminated back in countries nearly 30 years ago. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, more than 2,030 cases have been reported across 38 states and Washington, D.C., stemming from 30 separate outbreaks. At least 127 people have been hospitalized. Most cases, 92%, have been among unvaccinated individuals, and nearly 3/4 have been involved in children and teens. With 6 months still left in the year, 2026 is already far ahead of the last year's total that could set the modern record. So there you go. Here's some other news. ChatGPT, the makers OpenAI, have filed for the preliminary paperwork that would open the door for becoming a publicly traded company, making itself the third in a powerhouse of trios of artificial intelligence companies racing to the Wall Street debut. The company said yesterday that it filed confidential paperwork with the U.S. Security and Exchanges Commission. So there you go. In some other news, it goes like this. President Trump got some boos last night at Madison Square Garden during Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the New York Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. 2 weeks ago, Trump said that he planned to attend the Finals game at the Garden, which had not hosted a Finals game since 1999. And talking about the NBA for a moment, let's just say this. In the NBA Finals last night, the Spurs beat the Knicks 115-111. Game 4 is tomorrow night. So there you go. That's going to sum up my time with you. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so if you want to come and hang out with me. I would love to see you over there, no doubt about that. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. If I can give you some weird facts for today, let's do this. You want some weird facts? The investors of the shopping cart hired fake shoppers to push carts because customers were initially embarrassed to use them. If you need some words of wisdom for today, try this. If it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend 5 months worrying about it. And if you need some words of advice, you do this. Use an ice cube tray to freeze leftover baby food, broth, and smoothie ingredients. So there you go. That's some things to think about. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.